Ah! Well, I'm glad the limbs stayed on, but at the same time, what am I gonna do now? You cephalopod piece of trash, I'm getting her back no matter what it takes. You hear me? No matter what. Not right now, buddy. We have work to be done. Would you mind grabbing another bean bag really quickly? I feel like we're gonna be needing it soon. Hey folks, it's Matt. You may know me as Lazy Urchin, and it's been a decent little while. Gotta say, love all the support you guys have been putting into the recent video, the Paradox Forums video. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that, because I'm not in it for anything other than just making videos I hope people enjoy. But anyways, let's move on from that. Today I'm going to be talking about some things that I've been doing recently. Recently, I had a couple of friends give me some suggestions on Pokemon ROM hacks and some little trials that I should do with them. So, I'm going to talk about that real quick, but I know that face. You got something, don't yous? Yeah. Yeah, you got it? Yeah. Yeah. Hoist that catfish! Yeah! Oh, that's a bit loud. That's my bad. Yeah, I know that one. Toss him on the beanbag real quick. This here is the Guardian of the First Trial. Now, I didn't know what to do for, like, representations, if I should do, like, a little representation of the person who gave me the trial or not, so I just went with basically whatever felt right. This first trial was in a ROM hack called Pekins Ruby, and having played Pekins' other hack, Fakemon Fire Red, I thought it was time to play his first hack. And if you like Fakemon, this is a blast. A lot of the designs are incredibly fun and goofy. Other than that, it's just basic Pokemon Ruby. But it is a fun hack. It's slightly more difficult. Like, not quite as difficult as Fakemon Fire Red, but still pretty dang difficult. It was a fun one. But yeah, that was the first trial, was just beat the game. Oop, you got something else? Alright. But yeah, having beat the game in Pekins Ruby, my first trial was complete. You good back there, buddy? Oh, you got it? Nope, you got it. Alright. The second trial, I guess, was for a ROM hack called Gentlemon Classy Red, which was a Pokemon ROM hack where all the Pokemon were just... They all had either, like, a mustache, a tie of some kind, a hat or something. They were all dressed up fancy-like. But, yeah, I thought it was funny. But, yeah, my trial to that time was pretty easy, but let's move on to the third one. Come forth, ancient one, from the realm between worlds. I'm just fucking with you. Oh. But it actually worked. Oh, okay. Well, as soon as you're done stretching out, get off my hand. This is the representative of the third trial, an extreme randomizer, like my absolutely horrible extreme randomized silver run that I did back in the day, but this one was on Sapphire. And the trial was get 3 Pokemon of any type on your team at any point in time. And considering my starter, my Route 1 encounter, and my Route 2 encounter were all poison types, it's like, huh, that was fast. But yeah, like, my starter was a pure poison type Sableye, which really feels like what Sableye should have been, like Poison Ghost or Poison Dark instead of Dark Ghost, but it is what it is. Oop, there's a fourth one, slippery little bugger. In the fourth trial, I had to play through a ROM hack called Pokemon Roaming Red. It's a ROM hack of classic Pokemon Red, and you could randomize the wild encounters, trainer teams, items on the ground, TMs Pokemon can learn, what TMs those like what moves the TMs had kind of thing. And you can choose a starter and a starting location. So I chose to start at what's the town with the 4th gym? I chose to start at the 4th gym and just like go from there all the way back to Pallet Town to like end up at the home kind of thing, like on a journey. Sort of a symbolic thing, less of like, oh, just taking a wander through the Kanto region, and more of like, I started so far away and now I'm wandering all the way back home, sort of like a return from the 4 trials thing. And you've probably noticed it by now, the weird arms, the tail thing. I tried to incorporate a factor from each trial into the current design you're seeing now. But yeah, I think that's all I really got to say about the trials. Alright, Squid, I know you can hear me. What's it gonna take for me to get her back? And whatever it is, I really hope you can get rid of these stupid limbs. Oh, yeah. You gonna do something? Okay. So, what is it you want now? Really? That's all it'll take and I can get her back? Alright. How many you want? 3 is a fair number. Alright, I can do that. Because I am not allowed to get anything without working, apparently. I am being forced to draw Mega Pokemon at this Void Tentacle's whim. So, first, I wanted to create a Mega Pinsir. And you can see from that first draft up in the top left, it did not go great. He's a little ugly. And I realized at the time, yeah, no, that won't work at all. And so I created the second one, which I really liked, but I still felt something was lacking. That's where I really looked at the Mega Pinsir, like the actual Mega Pinsir, and I realized, oh, okay. And so I made the third draft, and that one really stuck with me, and it's like, okay, this is the one. It could use a bit of polish, but it's a solid base design. So allow me to introduce to you all Mega Pinsir Y, as I have taken to calling it. Bug ground type, with an ability akin to King's Shield that changes like whatever move it would be to have 2 different meanings. The reason I'd say Mega Pinsir Y for this is because Pinsir is Pokemon X exclusive, and Heracross is Pokemon Y exclusive. And I figure I made this one to sort of like, in a sense, match wits with. So like, if you look at Mega Heracross as essentially a mix of a fighter and a wrestler, almost, I wanted this one to feel the same. More so fighter, less wrestler. And so then I thought, like, reversal methods. Sort of like how with the newer Pokemon from Gen 8, Grapploct being a grappler, there are some moves that, like, you use your opponent's momentum against them to sort of, like, stop them in their tracks and do more to them kind of thing. And so I thought about, like, what's a very cartoony thing using an opponent's momentum against them? The little, like, subway entrance things that you push against and it'll rotate. And in cartoons and stuff, you'll see... sorry to use cartoon sponge. In cartoons and animated shows and whatnot, you'll see people, like, run into them and they'll spin and they'll get thrown back, almost. And then I thought, okay, I can use this. And so I thought, so it runs into it, it's got its, like, arms planted in the ground, and the enemy, like, charges, and it hits the pinchers, and it pushes it back, and then it swings forwards and launches it up, and then it uses its feet to sort of like volleyball spike it into the ground, which would be cool. And then after that, once it's done that, its turn is over and its arms are lifted from the ground, and that's how the move transforms, because now it'll be facing backwards. After like launching somebody, it'll land and it'll face backwards, and then it can curl up and roll backwards for that saw blade bash or whatever the move was. Right along like the Muppets do. Here's a Mega Corsola concept, and at first I wanted it to just be the coral had overgrown, and that's why Cursula is there, because I thought, oh, it could be sort of like that with the giant branching out coral mass, but instead of being the ghost of the coral, it could just be living coral in sort of a tree pattern branching out from it. And then I realized that wouldn't be balanced, A, because it would have Shuckle-esque stats, and B, it would just not be able to sit up straight. Like, I play Pokemon Battle Revolution a lot. The 3D Gen 4 game where you essentially just Pokemon battle a bunch. But it's fun. I got a Corsola from the post-game trade battle mode. And the thing about that is, when Corsola is hit, its hit animation is it's flung back and it lands on its little 4 posts. Like its 4 little coral posts. Essentially, if you like leaned your head back and then slightly leaned back so you're looking slightly like behind you almost. That kind of thing. And then it shakes a little bit, and then it jumps up and it bounces back to where it was before it got hit. And I think that's phenomenal. And I realized if it has that much coral, it couldn't do that, because A, it'd be too big to balance, and B, it'd be too heavy to get back up. And that's when I thought, why not have it be that it gets stuck? Give it the psychic typing so it can, like, see even during that. And then, because Mega Evolution is a thing brought on by a bond between trainer and Pokemon, have it be so that its Mega Evolution is strong against their natural predator, Toxapex and Moraine. So give it the psychic typing instead of water typing. And it's like, ooh, that's smart. And so, without further ado, since I've taken enough time already describing it, allow me to show you Mega Corsola, the rock psychic type. I wanted this to feel fun and sort of goofy, and so I gave it the weird colors on the limbs. But also, I want this thing to be a monster. I gave it Psychic Surge because if you know what the Surge abilities do, they put out a terrain-based... It was introduced in Gen 7, I believe, with the Tapus, which were all, like, they shared a type, I think Fairy or something, and then they had a special type, Coco, Bulu, Lele, and Feeny, Electric, Grass, Fairy, and Water in that order. Or Finny might have been Psychic. I'm pretty sure Psychic. But, yeah, no, not Finny. Lele. Lele is Psychic. Yeah, they all share the Fairy type, I think, though. I should really look that up before I start talking like it's facts. Anyways, they all introduced field abilities, which is where the Surge ability comes in. Grassy Surge introduces Grassy Terrain, which heals Pokemon on it. Every turn it heals a little bit more. I'm pretty sure, like, hold on, I'm looking this up because I want it to be correct. Okay, electric terrains, Pokemon can't fall asleep, and electric moves are boosted. Grassy terrain, Pokemon on the ground will have a little HP restored, and grass-type moves are boosted. Misty terrain is the Fairy-type one, which Pokemon just won't get status conditions, which is stupid broken, and damage from dragon moves is halved, which is also broken. And then Psychic Terrain means no priority moves, and Psychic type power is boosted, which is grand. Which is like, oh, that's just a little powerful. And so I gave it Psychic Surge because I want it to be broken. Because Toxapex has a few priority moves. I think Baneful Bunker, which is its signature move, is priority. Let me find out. I'm sorry I'm taking a long time to just, like, search stuff up. But, yeah. I don't think Baneful Bunker is priority, which is a shame, but at the same time, just having a solid boost to psychic damage is really broken, in all honesty. Which is great, because Corsola is not a great Pokemon in all regards. But it is what it is, you know? Now, word of advice for you. This is coming from a guy who does a lot of Fakemon designs. It's not often that you draw or create a design and it's just like, this is the one, the second you see the design. It's not often it's like, this is it. This is the one. But trust me, this was the one. The one, meaning this phenomenal, in my opinion, mega design for Blossom. Now, I love Blossom as a design. I love Blossom as a Pokemon. It's great. Like, you heard me talking about Pokemon Battle Revolution in there. You can get a Blossom, like, by default on one of the rental passes. That is just the most tanky beast. But I wanted to make a phenomenal piece of art. Like, a phenomenal design. Because, like, it's already sort of based on, like, the stereotypical idea of a hula dancer. Like, you look up Hawaiian dancer or hula dancer on a search engine, you're gonna find stuff that it's just like, oh, that's what Blossom's based on. So I wanted there to be a design that sort of stepped up from there and created an ultra destructive combination. And I am a fan of super niche, stupid character designs and character abilities and moves, and so also a fan of everyone's favorite fighting and flying type. It's Hawlucha. I used Hawlucha as a design inspiration for the ability. Don't know if design's the right word there. Whatever. I used Hawlucha as inspiration for the ability. But let's see this design I'm talking about. Also, before we move on, I know I just said let's move on, but still, before we move on, I gotta say it. I love that that horrific photoshopped mess. I did not make that. I didn't make that. And a lot of people that know me are probably surprised because that looks like something I make. No, I literally looked up, like, quite literally looked up on fucking Ecosia, looked up Mega Blossom, and there it was, amidst a sea of either, like, classic Japanese princess designs, or, like, hula dancer designs. There it is, and I'm like, this is amazing, I need this. But, yeah, let's move on. Here it is, folks. Mega Blossom, a grass fire type. Now, I want to point out that ability. Like, I love the design. You might not understand what that wire-looking thing on the previous image was. I'll get to that. First, I want to talk about the ability real quick, because that's stupid busted. Hawlucha's signature move, which really feels like the farthest step from a fan-made Mega Blossom's ability. Hawlucha's signature move is called, like, Flying Press, I think. All I know about it, really, is that it either does fighting or flying damage, based on which will do the most to the opposing Pokemon. Like, literally, the game stops for a second and goes, alright, which one of these two will do more damage? It's like, well, it's like a grass-type Pokemon. Well, it's like a grass Pokemon or whatever. It'll do more damage with flying type. So it does flying damage, and then the next Pokemon the guy sends out is like, I don't know, steel type Pokemon, I guess, and it's like, oh, fighting will do more damage, and it does that. I wanted to capture that kind of thing, so instead I made it that same kind of thing, but for all of its grass moves, and they'll do either grass or fire type damage, depending on which one's stronger. And the reason I did that was because of part of its design. You know what I said about those wire-looking things from the design image? Or the one between Blossom and the fantastic Mega Blossom I found? Yeah. You ever heard of a fire dancer? Fire dancers, hold those little things. They're like metal. They look like cobwebs almost. Big old cartoony spider webs in a sense. And they hold those, and they light the ends on fire. Those little yellowish things. Yeah, no. I believe those are wax, but I don't know. I don't know what exactly they're made of, but they're very flammable. It might be that they just spit out the fire themselves, I don't know. It depends, but they're usually quite flammable. They're called fire fans, or at least the ones I've found were. And the fire dancers will light those on fire, and then they'll dance around, and it'll make trails. Usually they'll be doing it in the dark. It'll make trails of fire, and that usually looks very cool. So I wanted to do the same kind of thing. But I don't know how to do that. Oh wait, no I do. With the little, I think it's called the stamen. Hold on. I'm not moving on until I figure this out for sure, because I don't want to be incorrect. It is what is it? Okay, it's the stamen. The stamen is the term for all of it. But essentially, you ever see a flower and it's got like the little parts sticking up with the little, usually round ends on it? Yeah, that's the stamen. You learned a fun fact today. Anyways, that's essentially what produces the pollen and junk. And that's what gets transported and makes new flowers grow, essentially. Anyways, I thought, hey, what if I used those and essentially flower wristbands as the fire dancer fans? And then I made it so the pollen produced by was incredibly flammable, and then I thought, hey, there's a Pokemon move called Petal Dance. So something like that, but with this pollen, would easily catch on fire. That's a good idea for an ability. And so you're probably still looking at it. I'm not right now, because I have to fix up all the videos and stuff, because I tend to ramble on. But anyways, you're probably looking at it. You can see the little danglies on the hands. Yeah. You can see those right away. Those are what I'm talking about. Imagining this just waving its arms around for its mid-battle animation and little sparks coming off of it kind of thing. Imagine it attacking and it like swings its arm and it's just like a trail of little bursts of fire in the air kind of thing. Yeah. Imagine you're facing another grass type and it uses sunny day and you use solar beam. It is now fire type damage because it would do more damage to the grass type in front of you. Just there it goes. Gone now. But yeah, I adore this design. This was my favorite to come up with, in all honesty. Like, I say it was my favorite, but at the same time, it was the simplest. Because it was like, I did a rough sketch of a blossom. I went, how do I make this better? Added some details. Saw a picture of fire dancers online. I saw a video on YouTube, and I was like, ooh, cool. And then I looked up fire dancer equipment, and I saw the fire dancer fans image I included there, and I went, that's the one. That's the thing. And the idea was made. The drawing was made, and now it's been made. But yeah, it just kind of is what it is, you know. It's fun stuff. I like designing Pokemon. But let's move on, shall we? Alright, here you go. Thank you, sir. Anyways, it's been a good video. I'll see you guys all later. Glad to have you back, Rugrat. Sayonara, dudes, dudettes, and all under the dude-brella. Peace out.